Most people think breaking a bad habit is about discipline and strong willpower. But the truth is far more uncomfortable. Your brain is running programs you didn't consciously choose. You already know which habits are hurting your life. Yet somehow you repeat them every day as if something inside you is pressing the same invisible button. You promise yourself that tomorrow will be different. Then tomorrow arrives and the same pattern quietly repeats itself. After a while, you begin to think the problem is you. Maybe you're lazy, weak, or simply not built for change. But neuroscience tells a completely different story. The real problem is not your character, but the way your brain is wired to protect efficiency. Your brain loves automation more than motivation. It would rather run a familiar loop than force you to think every second of the day. Every habit in your life follows a hidden three-part system. Once you understand this system, you begin to see why willpower almost always fails. The first part of this system is the cue. It is the small trigger that tells your brain which behavioral program to load. The cue could be a place, a time, a person, or even a specific emotion. Sometimes it is so subtle you never realize it happened. The moment the cue appears, your brain starts preparing the behavior automatically. By the time you notice the urge, the process has already started. The second part of the loop is the routine. This is the behavior itself, the scrolling, procrastinating, overeating, or anything you wish you could stop. Most people try to attack the routine directly. They fight it with discipline, promises, and bursts of motivation. But fighting the routine alone rarely works. That is because the routine is only one part of the deeper system. The third part of the loop is the reward. This is the hidden reason your brain keeps repeating the behavior. The reward is not always obvious. It might be relief from stress, a moment of distraction, or simply the comfort of familiarity. Your brain does not care if the reward is healthy or destructive. It only cares that the behavior produced a satisfying signal once before. Once the brain detects that reward, it stores the entire loop. The next time the cue appears, the routine launches almost automatically. This is why bad habits feel stronger at night or when you are tired. Your decision-making system becomes weaker while the automatic system stays active. Scientists call this mental fatigue, ego depletion. Your brain simply runs out of energy to resist the old pattern. So if willpower is not the solution, what is? The answer lies in learning how to hack the habit loop itself. The first step is awareness. You cannot change a loop that you cannot see. For the next few days, observe your habits like a scientist. Pay attention to what happens right before the behavior begins. Notice where you are, what time it is, and how you feel emotionally. These clues reveal the hidden trigger controlling the habit. Soon you will start noticing patterns that were invisible before. The habit will no longer feel random or mysterious. Once you identify the cue, the next step is to understand the reward. Ask yourself what feeling the behavior is actually delivering. Sometimes the reward is relief from boredom. Sometimes it is a break from pressure or anxiety. Many people scroll their phones not because they love the content. They do it because the brain wants stimulation in moments of emotional emptiness. Procrastination works the same way. Avoiding a difficult task temporarily protects you from the fear of failing. When you recognize the real reward, something powerful happens. The habit stops looking like weakness and starts looking like a strategy. Now comes the real brain hack. Instead of removing the habit, you replace the routine while keeping the same cue and reward. Your brain does not care which behavior delivers the reward. It only cares that the reward arrives. For example, if stress triggers junk food, replace the routine with a short walk or breathing break. The cue and reward remain, but the behavior changes. The next trick is environmental design. Your brain naturally follows the path of least resistance. If a bad habit is easy to access, your brain will choose it automatically. If a good habit is easier, the brain will slowly prefer it instead. Move distractions out of reach and place helpful tools in visible places. Small environmental shifts can quietly reshape behavior. Another powerful trick is called implementation intention. This means deciding in advance exactly what you will do when the cue appears. Instead of saying you will try harder, write a clear statement. When this situation happens, I will perform this specific action. This simple mental program gives your brain a new script to follow. Over time, the new routine becomes just as automatic as the old one. But there is one rule that protects this process. Never allow yourself to miss the new habit twice in a row. One mistake is normal while the brain is learning. Two mistakes begin rebuilding the old pathway again. Think of habit change as rewiring a system, not fixing a personality flaw. Every repetition strengthens the new neural path. Eventually, something surprising happens. The new behavior begins to feel natural instead of forced. The urge that once controlled you starts losing its power. The loop that once felt automatic slowly disappears into the background. At that moment, you realize something important. Your habits were never proof of weakness. They were simply patterns your brain learned to repeat. And once you understand the system, you finally gain the power to rewrite it.